Tuesday. Brandon Walker picks Central. Look at us in our Barstool gear. Just the two Southern boys today.
Yeah, so just all Southern pick Central. Brandon, glad to have you back.
Taking, yes, the South has indeed risen again. So it is you and I, Brandon Walker, Ben Mintz, chilling in the cut right here, just doing a little gambling talk. That's how we're going to do it today. Probably the two best friends in the office, I would say.
I think so.
So Rico not here today. I don't know. Apparently his new deal doesn't make him be here on Fridays. He didn't tell me he wasn't going to be here. Smitty is on a 3-day plan as well. It's just sad to see guys who do a daily show just call in sick and not be here. It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic to watch guys who should be here and they're just not here.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really speak for those guys. I know Smitty obviously lives in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But
it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't know. Where is Ev out today too?
Ev's out today too. Says he's sick. Can you imagine? You imagine having a job to do and just saying you're sick, you can't come? That's bullshit of the highest order.
Yeah, I know I would never travel around the South and not be in here and miss any days myself. So
I thank you for covering for me yesterday when I was out sick. I was Wednesday and AEW. I went to AEW show on Long Island. Dynamite. It was fantastic, as it always is. I ended up having to leave early because one of my fucking migraines set in. I had a big day of content. I did 4 interviews, and then by the AEW show, I was spent. I was done. Migraine set in. I ended up trying to drive home. The eyes were crossed a little bit. I had to pull over in the parking lot of an iFly indoor skydiving and throw up in the parking lot. And then yesterday, I just had my migraines are getting worse. They're getting they're coming now with after effects that they never came with before.
Do you think it's like, is it like a low sleep thing, or is it when you like
I don't know if it's vitamin D deficiency. I don't know what it is, but I wasn't in sunlight. I wasn't in heat the other day. The migraine set in, and there was nothing I could do to fight it. It hurt. It hurt real bad, and I like I said, I vomited in a parking lot of a skydiving place. So shout out if it did rain after that. So thank God. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, and yesterday I couldn't move. But anyway, today I'm better. I'm over it, and I'm back. So we can talk about everything we got to talk about tonight. Big night. Rough and Rowdy 16 from West Virginia. If you want to get down there, get tickets. Go. It's a hell of an event. It's a hell of a thing that we have down there. Jersey Jerry against Jeff Nadeau. The main event, it's about respect, blue collar against whatever Jeff Nadeau is. Let's talk about it. Because, everybody wants to make you make an emotional decision. You work with one guy, you did work with another guy. I don't really know. I don't know that I care who wins. But if I were handicapping it, I would probably go at maybe a 3-1, maybe 2-1 favorite, Jersey Jerry.
See, I think Jerry would be a very prohibitive favorite, but the COVID thing has to affect something, and he had bad COVID.
Yeah, well, he had COVID now. He had COVID 2 or 3 weeks ago. I wasn't able to recover from COVID very fast, so I just knowing what I know about COVID, boy, I don't know how much breath he's going to have, but he's been working out. He seems, when I see the videos, he seems like his punches probably have a little bit more pop to him. His punches are probably a little bit more angry, and I don't know. Jeff Nadeau, if you're going to win, if you're going to do it, show me something. I think Jeff Nadeau probably has the mind of a fighter. I think he has that element of it, and I think he can go in there and I bet he can eat some punches, but can he deliver the punches enough to win? Because my brain says Jersey Jerry should be the favorite and Jersey Jerry will win. But the other side of my brain says it would be, just as a Barstool product, much, much funnier if Jeff Nadeau won. Now,
Dave said that on the Portnoy
forgetting
show.
about what it would do, Jersey Jerry, whatever, but having Rico Bosco, who's absolutely run like a scalded dog every time Jeff Nadeau comes in here, has been just a giant pussy when it comes to Jeff Nadeau. If Jeff Nadeau were to win a fight and then somebody would say, well, now he gets to fight Rico, boy, we've got something there.
No, we definitely do. And think about Nadeau's business angle, too. For his relevancy with Barstool going forward, and that's what Dave said. He was like, Dave was basically like, if Nadeau loses his fight, where does he go from here? But if he wins,
yeah,
it could open up a ton of doors. The thing when you analyze it, so it's 3 1-minute rounds.
Right.
I feel like Nadeau, I don't know how coordinated Nadeau is punching and stuff.
Doesn't look that.
No.
Yeah.
He's just going to have to take shots and hope Jerry kind of punches himself out maybe. And does Nadeau have I know he's lost a lot of weight. Does he have the conditioning for that? Because I feel like Jerry could tire himself out here.
So Jeff Nadeau, here, listen, Jersey Jerry, not a made man at Barstool yet, but he's on his way.
He
obviously has something here at Barstool that's going to be great. If Jeff Nadeau loses, this might be the end of him at Barstool. I don't see what you use him for going forward. I don't see how you use him. If he loses to Jersey Jerry, anything he says to Rico or Marty, it's kind of null and void. So this is kind of a win or go home for him.
Yeah, it is. And the question is with the Nadeau. Like, I mean, we don't see him day to day. So what's his mindset going in? Is he just doing this to get a quick payday, or is he seeing the big angle as this is his huge opportunity going forward?
You know, Jersey Jerry stepped up to fight him when nobody else would fight Jeff Nadeau. And it's a shame that we don't get to use Jeff Nadeau on the show because we have another very talented guy, very charismatic guy, Rico, who's on the show. But we can't use Jeff Nadeau because Rico gets his feelings hurt. So Jeff Nadeau is somebody that I wish in another world could be on the show because he's an excellent gambling talker.
His college basketball stuff's very good.
Fantastic. We're in college basketball season. It'd be nice to have a college basketball expert in this company. So we've got a lot to talk about going forward. But Rough and Rowdy, by rnr.com. You also have Shizat the Rizat fighting. Mm-hmm. You have the rematch.
Crazy Bird.
The rematch of the incredible ladies match. You have a 900-pound fight tonight. I believe a 500-pounder against a 400-pounder. I don't know how that's going to work. That might be 3 10-second rounds. I think we have fights of all variety, all types tonight. It's going to be great. By rnr.com. You also get Dave and Dan on the call with Robbie Fox. Very talented, very funny, very entertaining on the call. You have Caleb and Rone handling the interviews, which that is probably worth the price of admission by itself.
It's phenomenal that they can take, such a generic thing, just interviewing people, and they just put their own spin on it. It's
you probably haven't spent much time around Caleb, but Caleb.
I did the Hooters commercial with them in Florida.
Caleb and Rone, to me, the two most talented guys at this company. Period.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. Opinion alone.
I don't disagree. Rone blows me away. He's like a Renaissance man.
Yeah, Rone's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not fair.
The battle rapping.
You should when you come into this world, you should be able to sign up for 2 or 3 talents. You shouldn't have 15. He's got 15 talents.
I mean, it's.
I have half of one.
I don't even think I have half of one.
I don't have half of a tenth of his talent. So, TJ.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You're living life, brother.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you want to thank me?
I do. I thank you via text, but thank you for being sick. That way I could do the game.
True team player move.
Yeah. I do want to make this about me first and foremost.
Right. As you should.
Because had I not called in sick, you would not have been able to go to that game. Right?
Right. It would have been way, way more complicated.
So yesterday when I was texting you at 12 and I said, I don't know if I'm going to make it, you resisted the urge to say, okay, well, you definitely shouldn't come in because you kind of played it coy. Were you happy when I was texting you?
It opened the possibility for me to go to the game. I will say I didn't make the decision to go until I had already been I got home from work. The game was 5 minutes in, and I was like, all right, I got to turn around and go.
I remember.
What, you didn't go? Wow, really?
Yeah. I asked TJ at 5:30 or 6 last night. I was like, hey, are you gonna go? And you were still. I remember you were still debating.
I had a bunch of stuff that I had to take home, so I couldn't go straight from the train.
You still got a front row seat in your section where you wanted to sit, right?
I got hookups.
So you, when you decide to go to a Rutgers game, even if it's against number 1, they're going to make a spot for you where it needs to be.
Yeah, I sent a text, and they put me in the student section and with the people.
Were the students excited to make that hole for you?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Household name in Piscataway.
So let me see. Let me see the video. If you've not watched it, which is up to, it's going to pass 1 million views today. So a lot of people have fucking.
The fans are calling for merch on it too, TJ.
TJ. I got to be honest. This is my, me and you have been pretty tight since we grew the game together in Omaha. And did you hear about that? Me and TJ grew the game?
I did.
TJ, this is my favorite video that's on the internet.
Thanks.
I love it so much. Let's roll the video. All right. Just watching the final play. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Put it up, Ron.
TJ, that is a piece of art. There are so many layers to it. One question: were you trying to start a chant with Rutgers fucking wins? Because you had that chant tone to you.
I don't know. I kind of blacked out. I think like the animal instincts just took over. Started screaming.
I think that's the shirt.
Rutgers fucking
Yeah,
wins.
that's it. I think that's the shirt.
I mean,
it's
that's-
simple. I mean,
That ain't bad. That ain't bad. It plays, man. Rutgers fucking wins. And then the fact that you were able to get the players in the background celebrating in the last 3 seconds that's incredible. Also, he hits the shot, right? Did you plan out going to the floor, or you just, all right, here we go?
It was kind of like a swarm. Like, it was just like you just rode the wave.
You just had
onto
no
the court.
choice.
Yeah, everyone was going. Like, it was either get out of the way or go on the court.
The sunglasses, that's going to be forever?
Yeah, that's part of the uniform.
Okay, all right. That's fantastic, TJ. Watching anybody get happy over sports, just pure stupid elation happy is incredible.
I think there's more to it too, Brandon. You talk about this of being a Mississippi State fan and me being an Ole Miss fan. Rutgers beat down fan base for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I think, it's a lot different when you support, TJ bleeds it and has
Right.
had to go through so much bad. And just, I mean, how heartbreaking that Houston second round game was last year. It makes me really happy to see true fans that really love their school through good and bad get the experience moment.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
much better than watching Alabama fans be happy.
Or
for
Marty
being-
with Duke, or yeah.
with Duke. Yeah. That's wow.
Yeah, people ask me
Is
why
that the
I
first time
didn't,
you've ever
like-
thrown shade?
People ask me why I didn't react negatively after Iowa scored to take the lead with like 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
It's because I've been there 100 times before.
Purdue, but yeah.
But right, Purdue. Iowa hit a buzzer beater against us, same sort of situation a couple years ago.
TJ, also the wherewithal to go selfie cam on the end of the game. Did you just think? Did you just like, hey, I might as well
Oh.
snap my phone on? Or
This
I was
guy.
like, yeah, it was the producer instincts, I
Yeah.
guess. I was like, if this happens and I don't get it on camera, I'll regret it forever. So.
This guy's a content machine.
I only steal from the best, so expect me to start doing that a
Hell
little more.
We haven't even talked about the actual buzzer beater. The just being a wherewithal. The wherewithal he had to split that double team with that little kind of Euro step into a half court shot. That was something else.
Did you see the clock stuff too? Like the clock,
Yeah.
probably about half a second or a second on the home cooking.
I didn't see that.
Oh,
Is there a little home cooking on the clock?
it looked like it a little bit. Like when he inbounded, it didn't start running for like a half second. And he already had a running start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's fantastic.
I mean,
That's what life's like in New Brunswick. East Brunswick? New Brunswick?
New Brunswick, Piscataway.
Yeah, but New Brunswick is where the basketball arena is. Piscataway is where the football stadium is, right?
Basketball's Piscataway. The campus is New Brunswick.
There you go. So nothing's on campus? What Zai, you didn't go to Rutgers?
So I know
I used to live there.
Did you really?
Yeah, for a year. My brother, my sister-in-law taught at Rutgers. So
Really?
I used to be there like every day, pretty much.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
You
Nice
went
campus.
you went to college in Florida, right?
Tampa.
Tampa, yeah.
Spartans.
Wait, what school?
Tampa. University of Tampa.
Okay, wasn't South
Who was it
Florida.
that you went to school with? You went to school with somebody. No, somebody.
I went to school with 8,000 other people.
No. There was a thing here one day where you were like, I knew him back in Tampa, but I don't remember who it was or when it was, so it doesn't matter. Rough and Rowdy tonight, of course.
Do we have the Marty video?
Yeah. Let's watch that. We didn't watch that because this fucking company, man, one of the greatest companies in the world. We do some great shit, and then we have this Rough and Rowdy, and we put our biggest idiot on the mic. Our biggest fucking idiot we got. We say, here's a mic. Why don't you host everything? Can we see that shit?
No, I ain't in that. That's the third.
Blue piss in the cup
Nothing
for
but
you
strong
right now.
fucking muscle,
Just the
homie.
announcer. I don't want to go. I want to go
He ain't no
home.
Twinkie bird, I promise you
That's
that.
Crazy Bird.
Crazy bird.
Is that your mom?
That's my fiance.
Fiance? Okay, she's gonna kill me. She's gonna kill me. Are you a meth head?
Is that your mom?
No, that's my fiance.
No, that's me. Well, in fairness to Marty, I don't think it was a crazy question.
Oh, I thought it was very, very in play.
She was very opinionated as well. Just don't know that Marty needs the mic in that situation. But
The
look
funniest
at her.
part was seeing how flustered Marty was, though.
Yeah.
Because Marty, usually on camera, pretty confident himself. He was just like, I'm just the announcer. I'm just the announcer.
Yeah, all right. So that's Rough and Rowdy tonight. Today we're going to talk about. We obviously have the NFL lines. We might open up the phone lines in a minute. I don't know. I'm still a little mad at that at the Yak letting that lying piece of shit kid call in yesterday.
Oh, the 6-iron kid.
No. There's a different kid. It's just a liar.
I didn't mean to call the 6-iron kid that.
It's a liar.
Okay.
But I'll talk about that on the Yak.
We had some good Mark 6-iron kid stuff while you were gone on Wednesday.
Yeah. Listen. Mark is a great caller, one of the all-time great callers from Pick Central. The 6-iron kid is one of the all-time great callers in Pick Central history. So there's room for both of them. However, the 6-iron kid got his ass all up on his shoulders when we had Mark in the studio, and he got all jealous, and he got all whiny, and he got all bitchy. And then he decided to call in one day, talk that shit, and he picked the biggest loser in the history of losers. So when you do that, you got to eat it. So 6-iron kid, you're probably full by now, but you got to eat that shit.
Yeah, he bounced. So Mark the next day took Air Force, and 6-iron kid called in out of spite and said Montana 3 units. But I don't even really think it was like his pick. I think he was just doing it to spite Mark, and then Montana won big. So
yeah, well, and that's fine. But Mark can. I feel like Mark can give a loser or two here or there. He's proven himself through and through. Whereas the 6-iron kid has just had like
his
moments.
1 day a year. He's had his 1 day a year. Isn't it September 17th?
1 week a year. Yeah. Because he starts with that day, and then he usually goes on like a 6 or 7 day run, which is pretty impressive. But Mark does it all year long. You're both great. There's room for both of you. In fact, wish I had more great Pick Central callers, and there are some.
I've caught a ton of heat, and I deserve it for my record and about how bad it's been. However, I got to ask this because he's been giving me heat. How many games in a row has Smitty lost? I mean, because I think I know it's 10.
Do we have the answer to that? What was our records yesterday? Yeah, give us our records for yesterday.
I mean, I know, and look, I'm still way down. He's done way better than me, but I've been catching.
Did you decide to wake up and beat Brandon Walker today? You're throwing shade, but yeah.
I've been catching a lot of shit lately, so I got to fight back a little bit.
Smitty did go 0-7 to
2 nights
Wednesday
ago.
night.
Yes,
and then last night he went 0-3, so he's 0 for his last 10. That's not great.
Look, I'm just pointing out the facts. The
entire show sucks dick right now, except for Big F. The entire show.
I feel like after how my year's been, just being over 500 by one, I'm just enjoying.
Well, you're under 500 by one.
Well, yeah, but I'm enjoying just seeing myself.
Oh, I see.
In the top 3.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay. I'm just enjoying not seeing.
You're fine. You're fine.
I need a decent month.
Still early in the month. We're only a third through the month.
The bowl game's gonna be fun this month, though.
Speaking of bowl games, I wrote down 13 bowl games that I love. We're going to talk about those spreads.
Awesome.
We'll talk about the NFL lines because there's a couple of lines. We can talk NFL first, frankly. There's a couple of lines I just don't understand, and I want you to talk me through them because I feel like you're a very sharp NFL guy, if not on the betting line, at least on the analyzing the betting line. Does that make sense? Why don't you hit that ad first, and then we will.
Let's do that.
We'll go on through.
Let's talk about some Bare Bottom clothing. Bare Bottom, on a mission to make the most comfortable, made-to-last menswear around while giving back to the communities where their clothing is made. Comfy season is here. Stock your closet with comfort without paying the insane markups you see at other online and big box brands. Everything is built for value. You're getting the softest and stretchiest clothes in the game for a great deal while doing good in the process. For a limited time, Bare Bottom is giving you an incredibly soft tech tee or natural dye tee for free when you spend $150. And you can also get 10% off your first order by going to barebottomclothing.com/picks. That's BEAR, like the animal, bottomclothing.com/picks. One other quick thing, too, the Viva La Troops thing this weekend.
Of course, yeah.
Huge shout-out. So it's if you've not signed up yet for the Barstool Sports book in all the states, we are live. We will match $100 up to $100 deposit and give it to the Fisher House, which is a great charity. Army Navy on Saturday in the spirit of that.
Yep.
Love it. It's great.
Army Navy. I'm just going to ride with the Service Academy unders in the last 50 games. Do you know what Service Academy unders are?
Against each other or overall?
It's Service Academy unders, meaning when the Service Academies get together and play each other.
In any combo of Army, Navy, and Air Force.
Correct.
I'm going to guess 31-19.
In the last 50 games, the under has hit 40 times.
Shut up. 80%?
The over has hit 9 times.
And there's one push.
So
you're 80% unders.
40, 9, and 1. The last 50 times these teams have played. The over-under tomorrow for Army Navy is 35. That is a low total. But 40, 9, and 1. That's
You can't. I mean, that's one of those where if you lose, you lose.
That is 80%.
No, you're like
Right.
if I lose, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm betting one of the surest trends in sports blindly. Like I don't even worry about what the players are. Blindly just going to bet it. Weather seems like it's going to be fine though. It might be a little rainy. I think tomorrow's supposed to be like 65 degrees here, so it's not going to be cold.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of debating going.
You should go.
Yeah, I know. Why not? You know, I know.
Listen,
I'm going to MetLife Sunday.
Who cares? Like I understand you're like I'll go to one or the other, but. And you should text or I'll text him for you, Cons. And Cons might be watching. Cons could probably hook you up with a ticket. Anyway, Army-Navy is one of those games where if you have a chance to go once in life, go see it. Go check it out. Go look at it. It's a spectacle, man. It's crazy. Like no matter what the records are, they're all going to be there. They're all going to be passionate and fired up. You should go.
I think I am.
You should
I mean, I don't have any plans tomorrow. There's no, that's the only college football. The Heisman ceremony is a foregone. I don't, know, we already know what's going to happen. There's nothing to that.
Yeah, Bryce Young will win the Heisman tomorrow, and Bryce Young should win the Heisman.
He definitely should, especially off the Georgia,
We found out yesterday the 5th, 6th, and 7th. I believe 5th was
Corral got 7th.
5th was Will Anderson. 6th was Kenneth Walker, which is still just remarkably low to me. I thought Kenneth Walker is the guy who got shafted the most. Corral, if there had been a midseason Heisman, I think he would have won it, but his numbers just didn't hold up the second half of the year. His team got a lot better, and like
defense played really well.
Defense played really well. Like he just wasn't a Heisman quarterback, whether it was injury or not, over the last 5 games. But he was the first 6.
I feel like he was like more like, I know this is a stupid distinction because Heisman's out there, but he was like more of an MVP than Heisman, if that makes sense. Like because if Ole Miss hadn't had him, I think they win like 6 or 7 games. I mean, you point like look at the season like the Arkansas and Tennessee game specifically when he won.
Is he playing the ball, by the way?
Yes. Yeah,
he
said,
okay.
Oh yeah, he immediately said.
Well, good. Well, I fucking love Ole Miss to beat Baylor. Then
it's only like 1.5.
That's a pick 'em right now.
It opened at 2.5.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em right now. Let's talk the crazy NFL lines that really stick out.
What happened to the Steelers defense? I mean, we saw the 2 weeks ago. So here's a stat for you: last 2 first halves on the road.
Yeah.
54-3, they're outscored. They were down 31-3 in Cincy 2 weeks ago and 23-0 last night. And, like, you think about the Steelers' defense. Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook are still running free.
Dalvin Cook especially. I mean, he had 150 yards in the first half?
Yeah, 206 in the game with a dislocated shoulder.
Here's the thing about the Steelers. I don't think you should get caught up in how good or bad their offense looks on a week-to-week basis or how good or bad their defense looks on a week-to-week basis. The Steelers are a team that stinks, but they're just good enough to ruin a week for a good team.
Like they did with the Ravens.
They're just good enough to ruin the Ravens team. If everything goes right for them, they're just good enough to beat the Ravens, but when everything's not going right, they're going to stink out loud.
Their offensive line is I mean, like Zimmer, and people are giving Zimmer a lot of heat. Like that was discussed yesterday on the show. Like, how long is Zimmer going to be in Minnesota? The defensive, like they were just rushing 4 last night, but they were disguising who was coming from what angles, and the Steelers had no clue. And I thought that was good coaching.
That whole division is weird.
Everybody just beats each other.
The Browns, fully healthy, are probably the best team in that division.
Yeah,
maybe if they're playing at their best. But they've all taken turns this year, like being the best team in the division for a couple-week stretch. Like the Bengals certainly have taken turns. The Ravens have taken turns.
The Ravens used to the last few years. They just beat the crap out of bad teams. This year they're just barely winning all the time. You saw like the Detroit game, and there's just been so many that at Chicago is without Lamar, but there's just been so many that were like that, and so it's just weird. It still feels like it's kind of open.
Just sit down for just a second. I got something to talk to you about that has nothing to do with sports betting, but we can do it in 30 seconds to a minute. Okay. And I want to talk to you about it. We're going to get back to that.
That's
great
fine.
Points.
I love having Jeff in. Dozen, baby.
Yeah. You guys.
Oh yeah.
Still got that crown.
Still do. Big one last night.
It's a shame the crown's not going to Arizona.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I wasn't rooting against the Honkers, but it would have been nice. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. They're good.
So I got a movie to take for you.
Okay.
I watched 8-Bit Christmas last night with my wife.
I told so. Where am I looking?
Wherever you want. You've been on camera before.
Yeah, I just never. It's a labyrinth in here.
Right.
I told you would really like that movie.
Yeah.
You didn't.
I did. Okay. I loved it, and I didn't like an aspect of it.
What aspect?
I didn't get the moment I was hunting. If HBO Max has 8-Bit Christmas, it is an updated Christmas story, really, where this kid his dad's telling a story of when he got his Nintendo, the NES. And Jeff, when I got my Nintendo on Christmas, I have a moment, a story, and all that, and that moment is still incredible. Getting my Nintendo is my favorite gift I ever got as a kid in my life. So I was waiting for the moment. Well, I don't want to spoil it. But
it's hard to talk about else, but I agree with you. That was so there's a couple.
I
things
never got the satisfaction I wanted. It changed to a different. It ended on a note that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, there's some twists.
Right. Yeah. But I just remember getting my Nintendo, and it was a well told story, and the nostalgia is thick. Now, the timeline's a little wonky in there, if you notice that.
In what part?
So I don't. Were you a late '80s kid? How old are you?
No, I'm 91.
You were born in '91.
Yeah.
So you didn't. Okay. So the movie was set in the winter of '88.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain gifts, like Cabbage Patch Dolls was also a reference as a huge gift. Cabbage Patch Dolls were not sought after in '88. That was like '84, '85, '86.
It's a merging of the decade.
But that furor, it just takes everything. And one time they're sitting at a table and they're opening baseball cards, and one of them gets the Billy Ripken fuckface card. That was in Fleer's 1990 set.
Okay, see, I don't like that it dips into the 90s.
Right. It might have been the 89 set. I think it was the 90 set, though. They messed up the timeline a little bit, but it was great to see the fuckface card.
It's a very enjoyable. If you're looking for a new Christmas movie, not many new Christmas movies come out that are good.
Yeah.
Or at least not even that. That's setting the bar way too high.
That
are just enjoyable.
We're 2 decades removed from our last classic Christmas movie, right?
And then they released the new Home Alone movie, which is just an absolute abomination.
Oh, man.
Tell you what else I watched.
Oh.
Me and Tommy watched Elf yesterday. Elf is one of the all-time almost great Christmas movies to me. A lot of people love it, and it's fine. There's good parts there. It's probably a good movie. But, boy, it gets about 45 minutes in, and it just limps to the finish. It
really?
just limps to
I don't
the
think
finish.
it does.
I just think that
I don't think it does. I think it is.
I think they sat down to write that movie, and they had about 10 to 12 great jokes, great gags, great things, and they never really fleshed out the back half of that movie.
It's such a Goosebumps movie, though.
Once he goes from being the precocious elf that's adjusting to the world and coming from, and goes to trying to, is now about the relationship with him and his dad.
About getting laid? Yeah, okay.
It doesn't hold up. Anyway, this is a sports gambling show. Just wanted to talk about those two things.
I saw a remake last night.
What'd you watch?
West Side Story.
You liked it, though, right?
Holy shit.
Really?
Really?
Better than the original, in my opinion.
I've never seen the
Unbelievable.
original. You're talking to two Southerners.
Unbelievable.
We have never seen, neither one of us have ever seen
sense.
West Side Story.
I will say a little bizarre. The movie is set on the literal spot that I was watching the movie last night. That was a little weird.
Wow.
Also, I felt like it said something. It says something bigger and smarter than I am about like development. I don't know, but I was like, this is weird.
Like I said,
then I stopped thinking about it.
It is something like, I don't know when you came to New York. How long you been here? 4 years? 3 years?
8 years.
8 years? Okay,
Yeah.
so watching cities or movies set in New York hit a lot different once you live here. Like I watched Elf back yesterday. Elf's a big time New York movie.
Yeah.
And I never noticed certain things when I was living in Mississippi, but now I'm like, oh, okay.
It was just kind of the opening of the movie. It's the Jets and the Sharks, and they're talking about both of them being run out of their area in New York due to being poor.
Yeah.
And then they literally walked by 67th and Broadway or 68th and Broadway, and I was sitting on 68th and Broadway watching the movie, and I'm like, I feel like this says something, but
Right.
I'm just too dumb to figure it out. Anyway.
All right.
I'm going to say I've said this to TJ twice this morning. I'm going to say it again. TJ, congrats on the Rutgers basketball win last night. It's a shame your dumpy football program can't take after your basketball program.
Wow. Wow. What? Why? Why do you leave on a note like that? That's Jeff DeLoe, host of The Dozen.
Again, that's the third time he said that joke.
That's the third time he said it. We will be heading to Tucson with The Dozen very, very soon. It'll be the experts, the Yak, ZD. Help me out, TJ.
It's
Frank and the Frankettes.
Frank and the Frankettes, yeah.
Of course.
I think what honestly the Coley, me, and Robbie just didn't have the star power to make the cut, or
No, you guys do. I just
the Coley fan base is crazy.
Well, I'm going to be there for college football anyway. Dan's going to be there, and Dave's going to be there. So, bam, there's 3 teams right there. And then Frank and the Frankettes, that's an easy.
And Frank's part of the. I'm sure they're using Frank for the bowl games.
Yeah. So I don't think y'all have bowl game responsibilities as we do. So it was easy to put that.
I'm not offended. I'm going to New Year. I'm going to the Sugar Bowl instead. So I'm not upset.
I look at this weekend. Let's start with the game involving your team that you're going to go to. The Saints -5.5.
I don't
against
see how.
the Jets. Ben, God bless you. I think you're a good American. You probably pay all your taxes. I don't see how the Saints are 5.5 point favorites against air right now, much less a real live football team on the road.
Neither do I. Alvin Kamara's going to be back, but
that does make a difference.
Oh, it definitely does. But the tackles, the big thing, man, Ramczyk and Armstead being out, two Pro Bowl tackles, has just really hurt the offense. Defense is getting CD Gardner Johnson back, but I don't know how the Saints can only 5.5 on the road. Period. I mean, I don't see how it can be more than 3.
And your boy could torch you.
I know, and I'm terrified. I told Brandon this. Billy Football and I are going on Sunday. That was talked about on Pardon My Take today. But we had that NFL draft thing last year, and I remember I was in LeBear's Baton Rouge, great Penn property, and when the Saints didn't take Elijah Moore, I was just crushed. Because it was so obvious that they needed a receiver. I mean, and look at it right now without Mike Thomas. Who the hell is out there? And now Elijah Moore had a bad first 4 or 5 games, but he's come on really strong. And I feel like Elijah Moore is about to just torch the Saints.
First 5 games, he had 5 catches, and since then he's got 38 with 5 touchdowns. So he's been really good. That line doesn't make sense. I think there's another great chance to ride the Bengals roller coaster here.
Bounce back spot too.
The Bengals, where the fuck is it?
The Bengals are plus. I think they're plus. They're either -1.5 or +1.5 against the Niners.
They're +1.5 at home against the Niners.
And that line opened at Bengals by 1.5, and it's flipped.
Yeah, they're +1.5 against the Niners. I think this Bengals roller coaster, there's something to it. I don't know how you bet a team when they're so up and down, but last week I just felt like the Chargers, they matched up on this on the wavelengths. I feel like the Bengals now bounce back. I think the Bengals bounce back against the Niners at home, +1.5. I love that.
I like it too. I mean, just off the quarterbacks alone. I mean, Burrow off a loss, you got to feel pretty good about it.
I got a wild take here, a crazy take, one that you might not agree with. I love the Raiders +10 at the Chiefs. I love them. I even think a money line play here is not that terrible. Listen, the Chiefs have spent a couple of weeks with their defense leading the way, and they've spent a couple of weeks winning football games. But this is still – I don't know that this still isn't a team that's vulnerable. I think this is still a team that can be beaten, that can be gotten. And Raiders +10, the Raiders are a 6-6 team. This is not a 2-8 team coming in here. This is a team that can win football games. I like the Raiders +10 against the Chiefs.
I got burned really bad because the first matchup was Chiefs by 2.5 at Vegas on a Sunday night, and it was when the Chiefs were really struggling. And I bought into the Raiders, and the Chiefs beat them like 41-14.
They did, but things have a funny way of balancing out in
division games especially. The thing with the Chiefs, though, what you're mentioning is like you look at the Dallas win 19-9, and then they beat Denver 22-10. I mean, yeah, they covered, but the offense. I mean, the Denver game, Denver muffed a punt on their own 15 and threw a pick 6. That was why they covered.
Did you actually tweet out the South Rising again?
I said I did and deleted it pretty quickly. I decided that was not probably not smart.
Just a funny joke.
Yeah, I thought it was a funny joke too, but I decided that probably should delete that.
You're a big tweet deleter.
I have second thoughts sometimes.
I'm kind of a tweet deleter too.
I feel like I have like ideas that are good, and then I'm like, man.
I don't think that's a bad thing. Sometimes just hey, maybe that was a little stupid. Other people are like never delete a tweet. Delete a tweet.
It's weird once it's out there, but on the other hand, I don't know. I thought it was a joke, and I thought it was funny when you said it.
I control my Twitter experience. Cowboys -4.5 against Washington football team. This is the line that is screaming towards the Cowboys. I think it came out at -1.5. It's now -4.5. Washington football team's done nothing but win football games recently.
Yeah, it feels weird. And the Cowboys, while they did beat the Saints on the Thursday night, they still, I mean, that was more of an indictment of who they were playing. I thought. And the Cowboys were playing phenomenal football in the year. I got a take for this. You're obviously a big Dak Prescott fan. I don't think he's been playing as well since his mobility. He's not running because he's hurt a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't know if he's not as comfortable out there. And a lot of it's the receivers are banged up. But I don't know.
No, he hasn't been as good as I thought he would be this year. That's for damn sure. But then you also got Zeke, who probably.
He's banged up. Tony Pollard's got plantar fasciitis. I actually am looking at the under in this game a little bit because the football team defense, they played back-to-back 17-15 games against the Raiders and the Seahawks. And Dallas, I don't think his offense is playing as well right now in this division game. So I'm kind of looking at the under on that one.
Plantar fasciitis, one of the all-time injury names.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very fun.
Doesn't sound fun at all, but I think it's not great, but I think it sounds worse than it really is. Plantar fasciitis should have been that should have been reserved for something that was like life-threatening.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's apparently if you have it, it's horrible though. It's like one of those things you think of like a foot problem. It's not that big a deal, but apparently it's like one of the most painful things.
And also, fasciitis, plantar fasciitis sounds like a face ailment, like some sort of rash. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid. Ravens +3 at the Browns. Ravens are another one of these teams. They're up and down, even though they're still 8-4. But they will come out and be fine one week and then just shit the bed and be in one of these absolute 1-point, 2-point wars that go down to the very end like they were against the Steelers. The Ravens +3 against the Browns. I kind of like the Browns here a lot.
I kind of do too. I don't know what's going on with Lamar and the offense. I mean, they played horrible in Pittsburgh last week. You saw, remember the Thursday night game in Miami? That was like a rainy one on the road, and I know Thursday night games are weird, but it just seems like Lamar was playing awesome early in the year, and he's regressed a lot. I mean, and then the first game, remember, this was a Sunday night game that the Ravens won 16-10, but Lamar threw 4 picks in. This was like, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
There is there's a team out there that they're better than their opponent this week. The Lions are +10 against the Broncos. The Broncos are a better football team, objectively, across the board. There are no questions about that. The Broncos are a team that I look at with a big number, and I just look at it and shake my head. Like, for some reason, I want to bet against the Broncos every week. I'm not sure that would be a successful thing, but they don't scare me at all as a bettor.
No, well, the Teddy, what I think is the thing is I think we got to start watching the weather conditions at Bridgewater because his arm, if it's really windy or snowy and stuff, he did not. I mean, he looked horrible in that KC game Sunday night playing in the wind. And so I think with him playing in Denver, we got to start watching that. Detroit, that off the wind, how do they play?
My last one here, and I'll just go through the card. If you want to talk, you can talk. I've already mentioned the top 3 I wrote down. Falcons +2.5 against the Panthers. That's just God bless you if you watch it. Saints -5.5 against Jets. Jags +9 against the Titans.
I sort of like the under there. Tennessee without Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown is it's hard to watch.
Seahawks -8.5 against the Texans. There's another team I don't like to lay a big number with, no matter who they're playing. Seahawks.
The Seahawks, heard a stat on this one. First team since the 1960s to be 4-8 laying over a touchdown on the road in pro football. It's interesting.
That's crazy.
That's a wild stat.
Lions +10 at Broncos. Giants +10 at the Chargers. There's a big number I'm not scared of. I love the Chargers at home against the Giants. Niners -1.5 against the Bengals. Bills +3.5 against the Bucks. The game of the week. Bills +3.5 against the Bucks. It would make sense to back either of these teams, frankly, because you're entering Tom Brady's section of the season. You're entering mid-December. You're entering when you assume the Bucks are going to peak, right? But if the Bills lose this game, they're 7-6, right? Aren't they 7-5 right now?
Yeah, they are.
If the Bills lose this game, they're 7-6, and that's not good. And this is a good football team, so this might be like Buffalo's last stand to stand up and say we're one of the best teams in this league. If they don't, they're just going to be easing into the playoffs. They're going to be backing into the playoffs at this point.
The thing on this one is Tampa looks so obvious.
Yeah.
Like Buffalo losing on Monday night, getting gutted on their home field. Tampa's been phenomenal at home, and they've been playing well lately. I liked when Tampa was 3. I really liked Tampa. I think 3.5 or 4 seems like the smarter line, but I feel like a square like in Tampa here. I mean, it just like looks so obvious in the NFL. Week to week, you see bounce backs when a team plays crappy. You see the bounce back all the time, but I still don't see how you can go against Tampa here. The Rams Cardinals is really interesting to me too, by the way.
Okay, yeah, no, that's another game of the week. I think the Bills Bucks at 425 on which what I mean. It's fine. I understand it. Is that you? Bills Bucks at 425. It is crazy that we live in a world where Sunday night. NBC, we're going to be watching Bears-Packers instead of Bills-Bucks.
It's even the Barstool Chicago has been bitching about it all week. Like, why are we in?
Right. I mean, they're 4-8, and they got the only storyline here is Aaron Rodgers. People want him to apologize for saying I own you or something. Whatever. That's stupid. And then Rams Monday night. This is a great Monday night game. Rams +2.5 against Cards. I love the Rams to bounce back. The Cards' biggest win this year is going on the road and beating the Rams in L.A. I like that to even itself out and the Rams to win this one.
I do too. And this is another line that looks ratty. Why is Arizona only 2.5 here?
Yeah.
And I know Vegas has a strong power ranking on the Rams. I mean, we saw them laying points in Lambeau 2 weeks ago. But Arizona won this first game, was it like 41-28 or something like that? I mean, they won very easily at the Rams. Arizona has done nothing but dominate. Collar's back. I thought they'd be 3.5 or 4. And the fact that it's 2.5 makes me like the Rams. It looks ratty. I think it's a bounce back spot for the Rams. So I'm kind of buying into it.
You have a second ad for us?
I do.
Oh, do.
I do. Sliding season is finally here, and Blender's Eyewear has all the fresh gear your head needs to get down on the slopes. Blender's new snow collection is cleaner, colder, and more colorful than ever. With 3 lines of goggles, extra lenses, helmets, and beanies, Blender's is hooking you up with good vibes all winter. Unlike expensive big brand shades and goggles that you've lost or smashed in the past, Blender's are actually affordable, so you're not going to cry as much when the inevitable happens. Blender's team of in-house designers are constantly coming up with new styles and colorways. Choose from the Nebula, Aura, or the all-new Lunar collection. Whichever goggle you choose, you know that you're getting gear that elevates every move you make on the mountain. And it's not just sunglasses or goggles. Blenders has prescription glasses, readers, and blue lights as well. Live life in forward motion with Blenders today. To score 15% off your Blenders purchase, visit blenderseyewear.com/PixVIP. That's blenderseyewear.com/PixVIP for 15% off. Blenders rocked with pride worldwide.
So, by the way, I'm enjoying the shit out of this, just kicking it with you, talking sports.
It feels like this feels like a sports, like one of those like 2 or 3 hour.
Well, it also feel we could legitimately, me and you should probably be in another universe. We're probably just sitting in a studio in Jackson, Mississippi, doing this for a couple hundred people. But as luck would have it, the heavens blessed us, and we're here in New York City. So. College football bowl season starts a week from today, December 17th. Today is December 10th, if you don't know, if you're drunk or stupid. I'm not going to go through all the bowls because I think that's boring. I'm going to do the bowl games that stood out to me, the lines that stood out to me, and where I'm at on it, and I want to see how you feel about it. We start first, and I didn't write down the name of the bowls, so if you know it, just say it. App State is -3 against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is a football team that can put up huge numbers, big numbers. Bailey Zappi's been fantastic. He's amazing. They got a great receiver, huge numbers, huge points, everything. But they are soft as goose shit, man. They are not that. They're not physical. And whenever they play a physical team, they get rolled over. And App State is the definition of that. App State -3 against Western Kentucky.
App State, I'm seeing 2.5 on the Barstool Sportsbook. Western Kentucky's offensive coordinator also left to go to Texas Tech.
That's true.
And I think that's something with the bowl games. I need to find a site that's got all the opt-outs and coaching. And,
right.
I mean, it's just so many moving parts in these games that you have to factor in.
Well, right here, we're going to take advantage of some transition. He coached in the championship game, but Billy Napier is off to Florida. And ULL is going to their bowl against Marshall without a coach, in an extreme transition. And Marshall, with a first-year coach this year, has a chance to end their season with a big note and go into year 2 that much better. Actually, is Charles Huff in his first year or second year?
I think it's his first.
I think it's his first too.
That Doc Holliday was there forever.
Charles Huff.
And Marshall also always wins their bowl game. They literally are like. Aren't they like the best at it, or one of them?
Marshall plus 5.5 against ULL.
That game's in New Orleans, so ULL will have a little bit of home field. They promoted Michael DeSormo, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
He was their co-OC, and he's the new head coach, and he's like a new Iberia Lafayette guy, so at least there's like some continuity.
How do we go from co-OC to head coach? What happens to the other co-OC?
I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but apparently this guy's like a local. He was super well-respected, knows the community, all that, and so it's a popular hire. It's going to be tough to keep up with what Napier did, though.
Another thing to do in bowl season, find the mismatches of weakness against strength. Weakness against strength. There is no bigger weakness in the country than Mizzou's run defense. Missouri, I just remember watching Tennessee gash them for 62 points. Anybody who could run the football was going to beat Mizzou by 30, 40 points. Who's the worst opponent for somebody if you can't stop the run?
Service Academy team.
Army.
Oh, yes.
Army -3.5 against Mizzou. I love Army -3.5 against Mizzou. Mississippi State, Texas Tech.
I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I don't like either side. Texas Tech is going through transition. Mississippi State, we're supposed to be sad and everything because we lost to you guys. We lost our rivalry game, and that was huge. We could have ended on such a better note. But pretty good team this year. pretty good team.
I think you have to be encouraged by the way Rogers improved.
This has been a terrific season for us going forward. So it sucks right now that you guys are going Sugar Bowl and we're not, but it's been a terrific season for us. That being said, I think Texas Tech's program energy right now is very high, and you got the Mike Leach factor. All for me to say, I'm not picking a side. I'm going under 59.5. If you've watched our games this year, 59.5 is a ridiculous number for our over-under.
Texas Tech's not playing shootouts like they usually do either.
Mississippi State, Texas Tech, under 59.5 is my number in that one. I also like West Virginia, Minnesota. These are two teams that offensively are just okay, but West Virginia has a pretty good defense, and when they play teams that are as good as them, they don't score very much. West Virginia, Minnesota, under 45. Excuse me. Clemson. Boy, did we act like Clemson sucked this year? Did we act like Clemson?
Their defense was great all year.
Did we act like Clemson just forgot how to play football? This team finished 9-3 with a touchdown loss to Georgia at a neutral site, a road overtime loss to NC State, and a road loss to 10-2 Pitt. That's what they finished with. And we acted like Clemson was garbage. And their defense is not good. It's elite. And DJ figured it out over the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And they're playing the most disappointing – well, one of the most disappointing teams in college football this year, Iowa State. Iowa State was number 8 to begin the season, and they finished, 7-5, 6-6. Clemson, plus 1.5, but money line to beat Iowa State.
The only thing with Clemson is the coaching stuff.
They're losing Venables.
And is Tony Elliott going to Virginia?
And they're probably losing Tony Elliott, too. He's deciding between Duke, Virginia, and staying the OC at Clemson. And I have no idea why you would spend more than 30 seconds deciding between Virginia and Duke.
Yeah, it's very obvious go to Virginia, right?
Why? What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't even understand how that's even a Duke. I mean, Cutcliffe had a good stretch there, but it's on fire right now.
I love this one right here. So you've got the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte. You have a team, South Carolina, that scratched, clawed, did everything they could to get to 6-6. They beat Florida late. They beat Auburn late. Those were two teams that were very disappointing. They play a North Carolina team who is just flat out more talented right now, flat out better. North Carolina -7 against South Carolina.
Also, don't have to worry about one of the things with bowl games is motivation. They'll be fired up for that playing with the school.
Now, this is the big one. This to me, this is the biggest opt-out game. If Sam Howell decides getting ready for the draft, not playing, scratch that one entirely. But if he plays his swan song, his send-off, nail it.
To South Carolina, man, you got to give Beamer so much credit for how they overachieved. Their over-under was 3.5 wins this year.
Yeah,
I mean they overachieved a ton getting to the bowl, but I don't know.
Another team that is going to whenever there's a big deal of transition coaching, but I think teams to target in bowl season are teams early on in the tenure of a coach. If you got a first-year coach who unexpectedly got you to a bowl, man, what incredible momentum this is to have these 15 practices. What incredible momentum it is to win a bowl game going forward into your second year. And that's what Josh Heupel is doing at Tennessee. Their over-under was like 5.5 or 6. They ended up 6-6. But, no, actually, they ended up 7-5. Excuse me. Tennessee -3.5 against Purdue. Tennessee can score. Hendon Hooker is good. He's coming back.
He could be really
I think they're going to light Purdue up.
I think the thing with Tennessee is they actually Heupel's brought them an identity now.
Yeah.
And they hadn't had that's been their thing forever is like, what are they? The Butch Jones and the Pruitt. Now they're that up-tempo team that has that fast-paced offense, and I think their fans are excited. There's one I want to ask you about that we flew over is I love Oklahoma against Oregon because I think Stoops they're going to play hard for Stoops.
I just hate I don't want to play that game. I feel like the transfer portal right now. I feel like the opting out with these elite teams. I feel like opt-outs with elite programs, not teams, elite programs opting out is a much bigger concern than, say, Wake Forest or App State or Western Kentucky.
That's true.
I mean, these are players that have been worried about their NFL future since they were 16, 17, 15 years old. Now, what does Oklahoma or Oregon have to play for? I feel like this could be two skeleton teams, and I don't want to bet on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just feel like the Stoops thing, something about that with Oklahoma, and obviously who knows what's going on with Oregon right now. I mean, they contacted Chip Kelly, I heard.
Yeah, well, Oregon's lost their coach. They also lost their offensive coordinator, but maybe whoever's there will say, you know what, I don't want to play as Anthony Brown, who wasn't good this year. I want to see what Ty Thompson, the 5-star, has. Maybe Ty Thompson comes out and lights it up. Any of that could happen in a bowl game like this. So I want to stay away from that one. I love Pitt. Now, this line is screaming towards Michigan State. Pitt opened as 2.5-point favorites. It's now a pick 'em. Michigan State has the worst pass defense in the country.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's opting out, though.
Is he really?
They're saying that's what they're
Okay, when did that happen?
Supposedly, I think that came out, or it was definitely mentioned in the last day.
Oh, if Kenny Pickett opts out, we're out of that. See,
Yeah,
this is why we talk through
Yeah,
this.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know if it was 100%
X.
official, but it was definitely supposedly.
If Kenny Pickett opts out, then absolutely. Well, you got to hammer Michigan State at that point. A&M -7.5 against Wake. Wake had a good year. Wake had a fun year. Wake had a high-scoring year. But
Wake can't stop the run.
They can't stop the run, and when they came up against a good defense, they couldn't score. Clemson embarrassed them, and A&M will also.
Also, what happened with Wake? What happened to Sam Hartman? Did he lose his fastball? I mean, that was bizarre in that ACC championship game. They were up 21-14 at the end of the first quarter.
But boy,
didn't score again, and they benched him in the fourth.
Did you see him take his helmet off?
He looked rough. Yeah.
Dashing looking guy, handsome as hell, man.
I don't know.
Just a good looking kid.
I think A&M. I just don't see how Wake can stop the run.
I love Arkansas to beat Penn State. Arkansas +2. Arkansas is another one, second-year coach. Pittman is building momentum, and I think Arkansas is about to beat Penn State. Kentucky -2.5 against Iowa. I don't want to have to watch it. It'll be ugly as hell, but Kentucky at least has some semblance of an offense to go along with their good defense.
Iowa, man.
I know. They shouldn't be on TV. You should not televise Iowa games.
It's bad.
It's just they went 10-2, and they're the worst team to watch in America. I just don't understand. I don't even want to talk about them. Ole Miss pick 'em against Baylor. If Matt Corral plays, Ole Miss is going to beat the shit out of
I
Baylor.
can't believe it went from 2.5 to pick 'em because Corral. Everything I've heard, maybe there's some behind the scenes stuff on Corral I don't know about, but he said right after the state game, he's like, I'm playing the bowl game. And the way he's fought, I don't know. I would be shocked if he didn't play. And I know maybe I sound naive in this day and age saying that, but
yeah, you probably do. But who gives a shit?
No, I'm pumped about being down there for that one. I got one other one to mention is, do you think Central Florida might upset Florida? Isn't this a good opportunity with all this weird stuff going on in Florida? To get them?
It is. But I mean, Gus hasn't exactly lit things up at UCF this year, and nothing about Gus's game planning impresses me. Nothing about Gus impresses me at all. And there's a very, and I don't know, Napier probably won't be coaching. It'll probably still be Greg Knox, right?
Yeah, I think Napier.
Nobody's noticed this. Greg Knox might go down as the greatest interim coach in the history of football.
They played well against Florida State.
Greg Knox, if you remember, when Dan Mullen left Mississippi State for Florida in 2017.
I didn't remember that.
Greg Knox was named the interim head coach for Mississippi State, and he coached in Lamar Jackson's final game. They played Louisville, 7-point underdogs, and beat Louisville that day under Greg Knox, 1-0 as a coach. 2 weeks ago, they play Florida State. Florida State's got all the momentum, 2-0 as an interim head coach, and now he plays UCF. This guy might go down as the greatest interim coach of all time, 3-0.
You just made a case for me not.
There's also the big athlete difference. I would assume you're probably going to see a heavy dose of the young quarterback Anthony Richardson, and maybe after a month of practice he comes out looking like hell on wheels. I would stay away from that one if I were leaning UCF. Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Also with Greg Knox, this interim coach, I had an idea. What if he became interim coach for hire? What if he built a business for himself, a brand for himself, where he didn't work anywhere from September, October, November, and then mid-November, everybody starts firing their coaches. You hire Greg Knox just to get you through the next 6 weeks. Sounds like a good job to me.
I mean, I feel like Coach O could be out there for that one too, with all how well he did.
Give him $500K for a month. That's good work.
Keep the guys fired up.
Good work if you can get it. Let's do picks. We're gonna have to talk on Monday about this Pick Central parlay because I don't like it right now. I don't like the way it's constituted. If it's the top 3 every month, it's gonna be the same 3 every day, and there's nothing interesting about that. I have a secondary idea. I'll tell to you real quick. I think this is a better idea than what we've been doing because it hasn't hit yet. And Marty's pick, I would have attempted vigorously to talk Marty out of his pick yesterday. I hated his pick, and I went against his pick on my card. Not to take shots at Marty, but it's just to say what I think we ought to do. I think we all ought to come with 1 pick a day.
And then we debate it.
And then we debate it, and we pick the best 3.
Okay.
And then by 1 o'clock, we have our Pick Central parlay. That way we can talk through it. That's a much better system than just this. Because I don't want it's my parlay too, even though I don't get to participate in it. I don't want it to be a bad pick to be in there.
No, I'll also admit this too. It's when the things do at 9 or 9:30 a.m. Eastern, it's like
it's rougher. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just rough because you don't really get to think through it.
I'll do my picks and then Ben can do his picks. I've got all NBA, all the association. I like the Bucks -8.5 tonight. Bucks -8.5. The Pacers -2. Knicks money line, and I love the Celtics Suns under 216.5. Under 216.5 out in the desert. There you go. Bucks minus 8.5, Pacers minus 2, Knicks money line, and Celtics Suns under 216.5. All in the National Basketball Association. Ben Mintz.
So Memphis has fallen. I mean, they lost at Georgia as an 11.5-point favorite. They're turning the ball over like crazy. I feel like this is a get-right game at home against Murray State off that bad loss. I feel like you're at home, you're young, you got to play a good game. I'm taking Vandy plus 4.5 as a home underdog against Loyola Chicago, and I got the Suns by 5 over the Celtics. Doing the lower volume, trying to control my record, pick better spots so far. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm doing great, but I'm not a disaster either.
No, you're 25-24-1.
But it feels like a win.
That's absolutely a win. So, hi, how are you? Perfect. I have a wrestler coming in today, John Silver from AEW. He's a hilarious looking dude.
AEW's blowing up.
AEW's fantastic, man. It's
fantastic. It seems like they do tons of New York shows too.
Not really. I mean, they do. They hype them up when they do them a lot. They'll be back in Newark in January, so they'll be right back here in 3 weeks. Maybe we'll do another round with them. Okay, there's the music. The Yak is up next.
BuyRNR.com. Rough and Rowdy tonight. Good luck, Jersey Jerry against the Dude.
Good luck to all fighters. Good luck to all commentators. BuyRNR.com. You will not regret it. It's one of the most entertaining train wrecks you'll ever see. The Yak is up next.